The origin of the I. The Elohim, the holy gods, produced from themselves by transformation man in their image. They created our collective humanity, or Adam, the male and the female. He, the collective deity, created them. The protoplasmatic race in the sacred island located in the Septentrion was in truth their first creation, a tremendous transformation of and by themselves, of the pure spiritual existences, the solar Adam. From that very first polar race originated the second race, Adam-Eve or Jod-Hiva, a Hyperborean people who were inactive androgenes. From the Hyperboreans came, always by transformation, the third race, the Lemurian people, the hermaphrodites that lived on the gigantic continent of Mu, or Lemuria, as it was later called, and that was located in the Pacific Ocean. The third race, the last semi-spiritual one, was also the final vehicle for the innate, instinctive, pure, virginal, unbegotten esotericism in the illuminated Enochs of that humanity. The separated hermaphrodite of Cain and Abel produced the fourth race, Seth-Enos, that lived on the continent of Atlantis, located in the Atlantic Ocean. From the Atlantean people, our actual fifth Aryan race descended, and we perversely live on the 5 continents of the world. Each one of the preceding 4 races perished through gigantic cataclysms, and we, the 5th race, will not be an exception. We have been told that in the remote future there will exist over the face of the earth 2 more races, and it is obvious that each one of them will have their own setting. The bisexual unity of the third human root race is an axiom of the ancient wisdom. Their virgin individuals raised themselves to the dignity of the broads, because those people were, as a matter of fact, the representation of their divine dynasty. The separation into opposite sexes certainly was made through many thousands of years, and it was a consummated fact at the end of the Lemurian race. Let us speak now about Eden, of that paradisiacal Jinn land to which the sacred individuals of Lemuria had constant access in those ancient times in which the rivers of pure water of life emanated milk and honey. That was the era of the Titans. The concept of mine or yours did not exist then, and each one could take from their neighbor's tree without any fear. That was the era of the Arcadia, in which the holy gods of the fire, air, water, and earth were venerated. That was the golden age, when the lyre had not fallen on the pavement of the temple and broken into pieces. Then only the pure gold of the divine cosmic language was spoken, that as a river of gold flows under the thick jungle of the sun. In that ancient era, the people were very simple, and as the pluralized I was not yet born, they venerated the gods of corn and the ineffable creatures of the rivers and forests. I knew the Lemurian hermaphrodite race. Those terrible volcanoes in eruption come to my memory. What a time! All of us initiates normally used a very common sacerdotal cloth. Those venerable sacred tunics looked splendid with their black and white colors that symbolized the tremendous fight between spirit and matter. It was dignified with admiration to see those gigantic Lemurians with their noble clothes and those sandals that had big tassels. In the space between the eyebrows of those colossuses was the pituitary gland, the 6th sense, carrier of the light and page of the pineal gland. Then, the lifespan of all was an average of 12 to 15 centuries, and gigantic cities were built, protected with huge walls made by volcanic lava. I also knew the last days of the third race, and I lived in that era cited by Genesis, that ancient age in which Adam and Eve were expelled from Eden. At that time, humanity was already divided into opposite sexes. The sexual act was then a sacrament that could only be performed inside the temples. In determined lunar cycles, the Lemurian tribes made long trips in pilgrimage to the holy places with the intention of multiplying the species. Let us remember the honeymoon trip. We, the Lemurians, were all sons of the will. The monarchs, king and queen, performed their sexual union on the very altar of the temple. The multitudes copulated inside the sacred area and on the stone-paved yards containing many mysterious hieroglyphics. The holy gods directed wisely those mystic ceremonies, indispensable to the reproduction of the human species, and in that time no one would have thought of dirty things, because the pluralized I was not yet born. I used to live in the country with my tribe, far from the wall-defended Cyclopean cities. We lived in a great hut, ranch, or cabin. Close to our circular residences with palm ceilings, I remember clearly that there was a place where the warriors of the tribe had their meetings. It happened that on a certain night, all of us, fascinated by a strange luciferic power, decided to perform the sexual act outside of the temple. Every couple abandoned themselves to lust. Early the next morning, and as if nothing had happened, we had the impudence, the shamelessness, the insolence to go to the temple as always. Then something unusual happened, something terrible. We saw a God of justice, a great master, wearing white and immaculate sacerdotal clothes, that threatened us with a fire sword that moved everywhere. He said to us, "Get out, unworthy!" It is clear that we then escaped terrified. It is obvious that that event was repeated in all the corners of the Mu continent. That is how the Adam-Eve humanity was taken away from Eden's garden. After that event registered in all the religious Genesis, there were horrifying epilogues. Millions of human creatures, mixing magic and fornication, developed the abominable Kundartiguador organ. It is opportune to cite here Kalayoni, the king of the serpent, the black magician, guardian of the temple of Kali, the fatal antithesis of the eternal mother space. Krishna saw that at the magic conjuration of Kalayoni, a long blue-green reptile appeared. The fatal serpent slowly turned its body, bristled her red mane, and its penetrating eyes flashed fearfully on its head of a monster, adorned with bright shells. "Worship her, or you will die," said the black magician. The serpent died in the hands of Krishna. When Krishna heroically killed the great serpent guardian of the temple of Kali, the goddess of desire, mother of Cupid, he made absolutions and prayers during a month at the mountains of Ganges. That viper of Kali is the tempting serpent in Eden, the horrible python that was dragged in the mud of the earth, and that Apollo irritated, wounded with his darts. It is indispensable to comprehend that this sinister snake is, without any doubt, the tail of Satan, the abominable Kundartiguador organ. When the gods intervened, eliminating from the human species that fatal organ, there remained inside the 5 cylinders of the machine, the intellect, emotion, movement, instinct, and sex, the awful consequences of the Satan's tail. It is obvious that those bad consequences of the abominable Kundartiguador organ form that something called ego, pluralized I, or myself, a conjuncture of tenebrous and perverse entities that personify all our psychological defects. Therefore, the pluralized I is a negative, lunar, and luciferic fohot crystallized. The satanic fohotic crystallization formed the ego. Inferential peace. Samael Aun Weor.